All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect that is scattered throughout the four winds of the earth that believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth for on hope of mercy and salvation during the time of Jacob's trouble, as well as when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth. All right. I think I'm gonna entitle this one "More Enchantments of Esau Edom," something to that effect. And this is based upon this article. Excuse me. This article here on the People's Voice I came across this morning. You know, and as you can see in the title, CDC shooting barely over before media demands government watch list for the unjump shot. All right, the uninoculated. Okay, and this is just another tactic for this man to get paperwork in order and laws in order that he can pass in order to justify himself coming down not only on the population, but more importantly, the remnant. All right, because Esau, he has to have it on paper to be justified. All right, in this incident, which I believe 100%, this was a psyop. Okay, MK Ultra, what have you. Because no one was hurt. It was just a lone shooter. Excuse me, a lone shooter. Shooting at the CDC. He didn't go up in the building. He didn't wait for nobody to come out. You know, he just opened fire. Okay, and now this gives them the leeway that they need to put said whatever law is getting ready to come out of this. All right, which is gonna crack down more security. All right, and no wiggle room for the public. All right. So without any further ado, let's read into a little bit of this, and we'll probably read the whole thing. It's not too long, and then of course we're gonna read the scriptures. All right, because this devil. He's getting ready to come down with great wrath. All right, in his policy, he's putting these. Excuse me. Man, I've been driving for way too long. But he's putting down these incidents in order to make his policy, which he's prescribing, come to fruition, so that he can be justified when he makes his move, his physical move. All right, coming against not only the population, but more importantly, like I said, the remnant. Okay, because it's all about trying to stop this word. All right, and this word is the ultimate freedom that we have on this planet right now. All right, the knowledge of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, this is how we know that the doors of mercy are getting ready to be closed. The famine of the word is right around the corner. All right, So it says, again, the title, CDC shooting barely over before media demands government watch list for the uninoculated. It says, a man who believed that the COVID jump shot ruined his health opened fire on CDC buildings in Atlanta yesterday. All right, so he just went and started opening fire on the building. That's somebody that he could have had the jump shot, and they controlled him to do just what he did. All right, because trust and believe, they have control over you people's minds who took that jump shot. They can manipulate you through these ELF towers because you're no longer you're an antenna now. All right, and by this time that that concoction that they had in there, it's fully self-assembled within your vascular system, all in your brain. All right, so this is definitely a psyop. It says, and what authorities say was a revenge attack. All right, before being found dead inside a nearby CVS. Okay, a revenge attack. Okay, they sure do know how to paint the picture. It says, oh my goodness, boy. Saints were out for sure. It says, DeKalb County officer David Rose, 33, was killed responding to the scene. Okay, this was the only guy, and he was 33 years old. Come on, man. I mean, this dude, he constantly showing you he's behind this with his symbolism and his numbers. All right, we all know 33 is a Masonic number. This is how they, tell you that they're behind this. All right, a revealing of the method. It says, DeKalb County officer David Rose, 33, was killed responding to the scene. He leaves behind a pregnant wife and 2 children. No civilians, all right, including 92 children at the CDC daycare, were harmed. But this is where the man was shooting. Okay? It says multiple rounds were fired at CDC facilities, shattering glass and forcing employees into lockdown as SWAT teams arrived. The official story, the shooter believed he was made sick by the COVID Uno Nueve jump shot and wanted revenge on the CDC. Law enforcement sources told CNN the suspect thought he was sick from the COVID jump shot. All right? So here we are, almost 5 years from when they start implementing that jump shot, and now we're having random attacks on the CDC when they've admitted that they were wrong about the jump shot. And here it is, this man is saying he was sick, so he's retaliating. All right? All psyop here, man, because like I said, he's getting together his legislation, his paperwork, so that when he puts it on the books, he's able to come down with that much more wrath, greater wrath. All right? That's what's getting ready to happen. And he's going to be justified because of incidences like this. Okay? It says, let me scroll a little bit. It says, let that sink in. A man claims the shot destroyed his health. And now the media is already spinning the entire event into a wider anti-jump shot extremism narrative designed to smear everybody who refused the experimental COVID jump shot. And that's, like I said, the regular population and us here at Great Millstone, we were ones that told you straight out. All right, don't get it. I know I myself, I've done several videos on that said topic. All right, bringing out information. I even have videos taken down and pages suspended. All right, pages even clipped behind videos I've done on this topic. All right, so now they're getting ready to start cracking down because of this incident. All right, and this is the headlines of BNO News. It says gunman in Atlanta was targeting CDC headquarters because he believed the COVID jump shot made him sick, and that's on CNN. All right, okay, and we know CNN is the magic wand of this devil, of this beast system. Okay. It says this is exactly the same playbook they used after the 2016 Comet ping pong shooting. One lone gunman, one sensational story, and suddenly anyone questioning elite networks of abuse is framed as a dangerous conspiracy extremist. And this is where it's going. Okay? The headlines aren't subtle. All right? But Esau Edom is. Matter of fact, let's get that in the scriptures before we finish this article, where it states that where is that at? It states let me get that real quick. The beast was more subtle. The serpent was more subtle than any beast that the Lord created. All right, and that serpent is Esau Edom today. Make no mistake about it. That's the book of Revelation, I believe the 20th chapter. We'll get that next. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord had made. And this whole agenda, this propaganda that he's pushing on this CDC shooting, all right, this is him being subtle. All right, because he more than likely had this man, however, whether he hired him or whether he controlled his mind to do what he did. And now we have legislation that's getting ready to be passed so that they can come down with great wrath. All right, this has been this devil's playbook for the longest. All right, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh powers had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, hath the Most High said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Right, so that's the point, that the serpent was more subtle. All right, and to reprove that the serpent was is Esau Edom, let's go to that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, which is Esau Edom. All right, Revelation 20, and yeah, we're gonna go straight to the point. Verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. All right, and bound him 1,000 years, and that's Esau Edom. All right, Esau Edom is that old serpent. Okay, from the garden. So going back to the article, it says the headlines aren't subtle. Anti-jump shot extremist targets CDC. Unjump shot gunman attacks public health agency. Notice how they're not just talking about one man. They're laying the groundwork to lump in all jump shot skeptics, all uninoculated people as potential threats. All right? And ain't none of Great Millstone took that jump shot, nor did we advocate or tell you to out there to take it. But you got some of you other groups, you was bragging and posting. All right? It says this is how narrative control works. Take an isolated tragedy, strip away nuance, and use it to justify targeting millions who've done nothing wrong, whether you agree with the shooter's choices or not. The real danger here is the propaganda that follows, and that's exactly what's coming. All right, turning dissent into domestic extremism overnight, and that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. All right. It says first they locked us down, then they censored us. Now they're framing us as violent criminals. How long until jump shot refusal lands you on a government watch list? All right. So the groundwork is being laid. We can see the devil getting ready to do what he does. All right. All hell is getting ready to break loose. Everything that, we've been prophesying, beginning with the apostles and elders, is starting to come to fruition that much more. All right. The closer and closer we get to Yahweh Shai's return, man. All right. The Most High has this man's foot on the gas. And we always bring these scriptures out. Revelation 12:12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And this is why you're going to see more and more of these type of events start to take place and occur. We just had the Jake. They showed that Jake, he had a beard on his face. He went up and he shot some military buddies. All right, so we're gonna start to see more and more of these different type of events happening. These psyops, these enchantments that he's putting out there to make it seem like Jake is the violent one, and we need to crack down. All right, and put a draconian measures on society to where you won't be able to move around, and hell, you won't even be able to have your own opinion. You won't be able to refuse jump shots. All right. Okay, daddy government will be your God. That's what they want. All right. Let's jump down to or jump up. I want to get this verse 10. All right, because this is what he's doing. He's accusing the brethren. He's putting us in these categories now. Now, with this incident, he's lumping the COVID, so-called conspiracy theorists, and label them as being violent off of this one event. All right. When there's many people right now as we speak who have been made extremely sick since they've taken that jump shot, who regret taking it, and none have lashed out and did anything violent as such. But now all of a sudden there's a guy screaming out revenge, and that the jump shot made him sick. It's all bullshit. But these things must happen because prophecy must be fulfilled. Okay? Revelation 12:10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now was come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power. And this is what this, everything is leading up to that. It's gonna get very violent and very what's the word? Turbulent. Okay? Until we get to the deliverance, and Lord will, Yahweh Shai delivers us before he totally shakes the earth, literally. All right? It's going to get very violent and very turbulent before we get to this point to where we receive salvation. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah. It says, and the power of his anointed, for the accuser, all right, of our brethren is cast down. All right. And when you look up this word accuser, the Greek word is, I believe it's categorio. Okay. Let me get there real quick. Yep. Categorio. Okay, and when you go to the definition, to accuse before a judge, to make an accusation, and that whole article is accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. All right, not just that article, but you had that Jake earlier this week. All right, that they put his picture all over the news. Okay. An accuser a name given to the devil, all right, by the rabbis, all right, a complainant, a law, especially Satan. Okay. Now let's go back to this. And this is where you get the word category from this Greek word. Okay. Let's see. Wait, Shalaki, let me see that again. To make these are the synonyms, G1462. To make a verbal assault which reaches its goal. And this is what these news clippings and headlines are for, to reach the goal of them being able to apply more pressure. All right. So that's pretty much it. Let's go. Let's look up, I believe this word, yeah, the word accuse is the same thing. All right. And just because they don't put Israelites in the and that's coming. All right, that's coming. Where they gonna put actual Israelites in the headlines. All right, they just, throwing little jabs out there, before they actually present us to the world as the worst thing going. And trust and believe, they got all you other Israelite groups going to the gun range, all the things and bullshit that you've been doing over the years. They have that footage, and they doctoring up something real demonic. I remember one time downtown LA, this Edomite was all in our face, and I was like, man, you a cop, ain't you? He's like, no, I'm not a cop. And I remember him saying something like, but I can edit though. And he said it so like the devil. You know what I'm saying? He basically letting us know we just needed some footage so we can edit it to make it look how they want it to look to the public. So they gonna come and they gonna have us out here looking crazy, all right, looking like we're the problem, all right. But that's all right, because the Lord is gonna intervene, all right. That's all a part of this thing. Matter of fact, we ended in the book of Acts. I believe it's at 4:14. Let me see. I believe it's 4. No, it's 14. Acts the 14th chapter. All right. It's gonna get, like I said, it's gonna get very turbulent in order for us to make it into the kingdom, man. All right. You gotta be you better be wearing your thick skin. All right, because Esau Edom is going to do everything he can to make us look evil as a mother effer in the eyes of the public. All right, and as we see him with his enchantments, just that article alone show you he's at work with them enchantments. And most people, the average American is a part of, he has their mind. They don't even have their own mind. Billions of people took that damn jump shot, so they're under his control. All right. Acts 14th chapter. And the 22nd verse, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples. All right. And we all are disciples. All right. Of Yahweh Shai. All right. Who became apostles because the Lord now sent us out there to teach. All right. Which the main apostles being the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. All right. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. Salakia, phone call had came in, but even when we're faced with these, these false accusations that are coming, all right, we gonna have to remain firm, all right. Okay, we're gonna have to continue in the faith, because it being an Israelite, gonna watch how many of these jakes out here that wear their fringes every goddamn where. I was in Home Depot a couple weeks ago when I was back home, and I was walking. I forget what I was getting, but I was in Home Depot and I seen an OG Crip nigga, and the nigga had fringes on. You know what I'm saying? On his clothing, on his t-shirt, And I was like, damn, look at Jake. But guarantee you he ain't out there teaching the word. He don't know what the hell's going on. Because Jake think being an Israelite is a fashion statement. All right? Most Jakes that know that they Israelites don't understand the importance or the how serious it is to proclaim our nationality back from this devil. You think this devil just gonna say, oh yeah, they're the man, this devil getting ready to roll, man. All right, this is why it says here in Acts the 14th chapter, all right, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them. Matter of fact, let's look up that word exhorting. Okay. Matter of fact, first we're going to look up this word confirming, all right, which the Greek word is epistiza or epistizo, to establish besides strengthen more, all right, to render more firm, all right. You know how the blacksmith, when they used to make them swords, and they should just constantly beat on them and beat on them and beat on them. Heat them up. Beat on them. Cool them down. Heat them up. Put them, you know what I'm saying? That was to make that steel that much more firm. All right? So it wasn't breakable. Well, this is what we're doing in the spirit. All right? We're confirming one another. All right? Bringing out the shows. Doing the shows. Bringing out the information, you know what I'm saying? Talking to brothers, whatever it takes, whatever the Spirit have us do. This is all confirming us, making us that much more firm. All right, in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Yeah, we get the point. Now let's look up that word exhorting. Exhorting them. Man, what the hell? Ain't nothing to say, man. Come on. Right. Exhorting them, parkaleo, all right, parkaleo, which means to call one side, call for a summon, to address, to speak to, all right, which may be done in the way of exhortation, entreaty, comfort, instruction, etc. All right, and you can't tell me this is not what you get from the men of Great Millstone, beginning with the apostles on down. You can't tell me that's not what you get, because that's exactly what you're getting. All right, not only to the brethren, the brothers, but as well as you sisters. All right, because you're going to be tested too. All right, all of us are getting ready to be tested, and we got to stand firm in this thing. To admonish, exhort, to beg, entreat, beseech, to strive to appease by entreaty, to console, to encourage, and strengthen by consolation. All right, and this is, in essence, what these shows are for. All right, to the building up of your faith, so that when these things do get to happening, you're unmovable. All right. I believe Paul spoke about being immovable. Let me get that real quick, and then we'll finish out in Acts 14. Let me see. Unmovable. Let me go. Shalaki, I'm using this other phone because I'm going to use Google. That's it. 1 Corinthians. Let's get it. 1 Corinthians 15. Yep. Well, I was spelling it wrong. I forgot the E. 1 Corinthians 15 and 58, it says, "Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable," all right, "always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know what your labor is, Salakia, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord." That's right. All right. So we got to be unmovable. It don't matter what Esau come with. Okay. So let's finish this out, and then I'll close it out. It says, back in Acts 14:22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. All right. And that's, it's really upon us. You see what's happening with the northern kingdom, the so-called Latin tribes. All right, the indigenous tribes. They're being targeted like animals. And Judah, you're next. All right, so we got to do much tribulation. All right, it's how we gonna enter into the kingdom. All right, but the Lord he's confirming us, and he's exhorting us so that we may continue in the faith, keeping the faith. All right, so with that, man, Lord will, this was edifying, as well as exhorting to the hopeful elect out there, giving all praise unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and we